Papa. Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. So look, today I got this 2015 Volkswagen R turbocharged 2.0 liter engine right behind me, and what we're gonna be doing today is a tune-up. A lot of you guys might be asking, homie Hector, what's a tune-up? Now look, a tune-up has been changing over the years, okay? Now back in the days, it used to consist of replacing your ignition and fuel system components to keep your engine running at tip-top condition. Now back in the days, it was the ignition distributor points, the cap, the rotor, the wires, the plugs, and the fuel filter. Now, a lot of this stuff is not even used anymore. So we don't have a distributor, we have coil-on plugs, so we're limited to replacing the spark plugs. Some cars don't even have wires anymore. Fuel filters are not being serviceable anymore. They drop them into the gas tank with the fuel pump, so you can't service them. So now what you gotta do is a fuel system service, which consists of cleaning the throttle body, doing a fuel induction cleaning, and dropping an additive into the gas tank to take care of cleaning the injectors for you. Now, since the ignition system and the fuel system became less serviceable, manufacturers started coming out with 30, 60, and 90K services, which means replacing a lot of the fluids under the hood of your car. Now, what I would recommend for you is that you replace all your filters when you're doing a tune-up, which consists of the air filter, the engine and oil filter, the cabin filter. If you have a transmission filter, go ahead and do that. A fuel filter, which you probably don't have anymore, but if you have it, go ahead and change it. So what we're gonna be doing today on this car is we're gonna be doing spark plugs. We don't have wires, so I don't have to worry about that. We don't have a fuel filter, so I don't have to worry about that. All we're doing is spark plugs, and we're gonna be dropping a fuel additive into the gas tank, and that's it. We've already done the oil and filter change, and we've already done the air filter. Now we're gonna be doing spark plugs, dropping a fuel additive, and that's a tune-up for this car, guys. Now look, when it comes to spark plugs, there's a discussion that certain brand of spark plugs belong with certain kind of cars. I'm a big believer that the brand of spark plugs you put in your car is not gonna make your car run any better or worse. As long as it's the correct spark plug for your car, you should be okay. Now I think that certain car manufacturers, I think the reason they do that is because certain car manufacturers have a contract with a certain brand of spark plugs. So that's why they recommend NGK for Hondas, Denso for Toyotas, Bosch for this, Autolite for Ford, and you know, whatever. The list keeps going on. But just check with your manufacturer if you want to stick with that certain kind of spark plug. Now let me know in the comments below if you think that makes a difference for you guys. So without further ado, guys, let's get on this quick and dirty tune-up. 2015 Volkswagen R coming up. Alright guys, so this should be a pretty quick and dirty tune-up, being that our spark plugs are right under this cover and they're easily accessible. So the very first thing is we got to take this cover off. And you can see that it's just held in by 4 little chingaderas right there. Alright, look, so I'm going to start off by removing these 4 10mm nuts. These are just the ground studs for each of the coils. And I'm just going to move them out of the way. Now to undo the coil, you just gotta press this little clip right here. It's gonna lift up on the tab and you just slide it back. Now you're gonna have to undo all of them because all of these connectors are actually attached to this harness and it's not flexible. So what I would recommend is undo all 4 and then move all 4 out of the way. Okay, now you can see we don't have much slack here. So what I'm actually gonna do here is undo these 2 T30 screws, and then that'll give us a little bit more slack so we can push the harness back a little bit and undo the 4 connectors from the coils. I'm actually gonna unplug this map sensor also. Now I can push this harness back this way and you can see how the 4 connectors come off the coils. Now I can take off the 4 10mm that are holding the coils in. And then I can just go ahead and slide the coils up. There's 1 coil, 2 coils. If you find yourself struggling a little bit, you want to wiggle the coil a little bit left and right, and that should loosen it up a little bit so you can lift it right up. 3 coils and 4. Now we have access to the spark plugs. One of the things I like to do is go in there with a ratchet and loosen up the spark plugs first before I go in there with my little impact driver. So I'm going to loosen them up first. Once I have them loose, I'll go back in there with my little Bosch impact driver and I'll take them all the way out. Something to notice, guys, is that the spark plugs that came out of this Volkswagen are NGK spark plugs. I'm gonna be putting some Bosch back in there, and that's okay, guys. I honestly think it doesn't make a difference. I don't think the car is not gonna know whether it has NGK or Bosch. It just wants to know that it has the correct spark plug installed, and whether it's NGK, Bosch, Champion, Denso, it's not gonna make a difference as long as it's the correct spark plug for your car. So let me know in the comments below, guys. Do you guys think that putting a different brand spark plug into certain cars makes a difference? Have you guys ran into problems with that? Because me personally, I have not. That's why I'm going with Bosch for this one. And let me know what you guys think down below. These are the spark plugs that are going to be going back into this car. These are Bosch Double Platinum, pretty expensive spark plugs. And also what I did was I put a little bit of anti-seize right there on the tip of the spark plug threads. You see that? I put a little bit of anti-seize so that when I screw this thing down into the head, the anti-seize spreads down this way to the rest of the threads. You don't have to use it, but I like to use it just because if we ever have to get back in here, the spark plugs aren't seized onto the head and they're easier to remove. So Bosch Double Platinum, about to go back into this car. Now you always want to take your spark plug socket and start them by hand a couple threads. Once you feel it catching, then you can go ahead with your impact driver and give it a little zap. Then after that, what I like to do is just go over with my 3/8 ratchet and make sure that they're tight, and this way I get a feel by hand of how tight the spark plug is. And that's it. After this, we can drop our coils back in. Move the connectors back so we can push the coils all the way down into the bore, into its hole. Make sure they're all the way down, then push the connectors back in. I'll start off by putting the 4 10mm nut bolts back into the coils. Again, start them by hand so you won't cross thread anything. Zap them down with a little 10mm. After this, we're going to reinstall the 4 ground screws for each of the coils. And then we're going to zap them down again with a little 10mm. And that's it. Don't forget to reinstall the 2 T30 screws that we took off from this little bracket right here. And then after this, we can reinstall our little cover back. Don't forget to plug in our chingadera. And that's that. And there it is, guys. There you have it, a quick and dirty spark plug R&R on this 2015 Volkswagen R. Now the last thing we really got to do is just drop this chingadera inside the gas tank. This is a fuel additive, aka a little tune-up in a bottle right there. And that's that, homies. Told you it was gonna be quick and dirty. All we needed was a 10mm socket, the T30, which is optional, and your spark plug socket, and that's it. That's all the tools that you need for the tune-up on this Volkswagen right here. I'm gonna end it right here, guys. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and drop your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you guys are working on this weekend. And until then, guys, I'll see you on the next one.